On Fridays, we check in on the world of entertainment, things you can watch, things you can listen to. He's the culture blaster. He writes the Coastal Commuter column for the Marina Times. He's a San Francisco fixture. I know very few bigger Giants fans and Niners fans and guys who know this world of culture better than this guy. He is. Oh, yes. Brought in like the good witch of the North. He's Michael Snyder. Michael Snyder, welcome to KGO.
Well, thank you. Thank you kindly. And I love that little harp intro. I have to tell you, Trump tested positive after all that accentuating the negative. I mean, I'm glad I'm voting for Mr. In Between. That's all I'm saying. You know?
I get it. The accentuate and the positive, eliminate the negative. I got it. Hey, very well done. Yes.
Very Tin Pan Alley, I know. And we're experiencing great heat here in the Bay Area. So let's cool down, either sit at home, turn on the AC, or, I don't know, go to a drive-in and see some of these cool films that I'm going to lay out for you right now. Shall we begin?
Go for it. Yes.
On the Rocks. On the Rocks is the latest from writer-director Sofia Coppola, who's got a spotty filmography, but she's made a few really memorable and worthy movies, among them The Bling Ring, The Beguiled, I love that, and the movie that really earned her critical acclaim and esteem, Lost in Translation. So I'm happy to report that On the Rocks reunites her with one of the stars of Lost in Translation, none other than Bill Murray. Though this is by no means a classic, the team of Murray, as a well-to-do art dealer and bon vivant, and Rashida Jones, that's Quincy Jones and Peggy Lipton's kid, and one of the stars of The Office, as his daughter. She's a New York City writer, wife and mother, and she fears her husband is cheating on her. And this combo kind of makes this trifle into a treat. I mean, the movie ambles genially, kind of like Murray himself, not to mention having big doses of his comedy of insouciance. I mean, it's not particularly deep, but hanging out for an hour and a half with Murray and the ever-engaging Rashida is as a kind of easygoing and diverting a time as you might imagine. And the character of Felix, like a few of Murray's inimitable characters, is sort of carefree and charming while concerned with pleasure, particularly what makes him happy. And that doesn't make him a good father, as Jones Laura points out, but he's fun to be around even when he's pontificating, and he's happy to kind of share his good times with his daughter when they're together. And despite the question of her husband's fidelity, and Marlon Wayans is pretty much a handy prop in that role, the caper aspects of the father and daughter investigation take a back seat to the kind of comedic repartee between Murray and Jones, and that's enough to keep me involved. Plus, the movie ends with a great new song by the sharp and tuneful French pop rock band Phoenix. This is going to be in theaters starting today. And again, if it's playing a drive-in near you in the Bay Area, yeah, check it out. And it'll be streaming in a couple of weeks. We should probably move on.
It's called On the Rocks. Before you move on, I want to note, this has been quite a week for words. The first time on this show ever, the word insouciance has been used, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you very, very much. So, yeah,
I'm
you
honored.
get credit for
I'm
that.
honored.
Yeah. Earlier in the week, we had prevarication and or prevaricate, which was also, yeah. So you got the end of the week recognition. Please continue.
Okay. Speaking of honoring, the Glorias, plural, is director, co-screenwriter Julie Taymor's biopic about the writer, activist, feminist icon Gloria Steinem. And it was like clearly a labor of love for all involved. And though it's kind of ambitious in its kind of occasionally surreal use of multiple Glorias interacting in fantasy sequences, and there's animation and archival footage, it ends up feeling kind of matter of fact. I would say the most notable and successful aspect of the film is the casting. Especially since Taymor has the luxury of having Alicia Vikander playing Gloria as a young woman, and Julianne Moore as Gloria when she rose to prominence in the 1970s as the editor of Ms. Magazine and as a spokeswoman for the women's movement. I mean, they're a total joy to watch on screen. And the real Steinem shows up at the end in the role of, I don't know, a living legend. But the story starts when Gloria's a kid growing up in Ohio in the 1940s. Nice turn by Timothy Hutton, We haven't seen him in a bit. He plays her good-hearted hustler of a father, and her mother, who never fulfilled her dreams of being a writer, opting for a difficult marriage and motherhood, inspires Gloria in her journalistic pursuits, as well as her desire to be an independent woman. And the rest is herstory. Also on the plus side, you get Janelle Monáe as Dorothy Pittman Hughes, another proto-feminist who helped bring Steinem into the movement, and Bette Midler as a brash and lovable legend herself, the New York politician Bella Abzug. I mean, the Glorias is well made, but again, it feels somewhat perfunctory. You know what? It's like a solid HBO special that gets Emmy Award nominations for a few of the actors, even though it doesn't win Outstanding Television Movie. Although maybe Midler wins a supporting actor role. I don't know. Anyway.
So on that one. I'm sorry. Streaming on where?
Amazon Prime.
Okay, great. What is it? Hang on a second. No, that's not. No, Albert thinks that you used another word, perfunctory, that we haven't used. We've used the word perfunctory before on the show, so I cannot give him I can't award you any points, Michael. Okay, we're almost out of time. Please, please wrap up with something good.
Okay, The Boys in the Band is a first-rate movie adaptation of the groundbreaking and award-winning drama by playwright Mart Crowley that caused such a ruckus in 1968 when it was originally mounted off Broadway. For a lot of people, this depiction of a group of gay men at a small party in Manhattan was like a look into an alien world back then. And now it seems a bit like a time capsule, especially since LGBTQ people and culture have long since gone mainstream, even if the community, this is a good point, still has a share of prejudice and bigotry to overcome. And here's a cool thing. The majority of the cast from the recent acclaimed Broadway revival of this are on board here. They are uniformly excellent. And as if illustrating like how far we've come, the most familiar names in the cast, Jim Parsons of The Big Bang Theory, Zachary Quinto of Star Trek, Matt Bomer of White Collar and Doom Patrol, and Andrew Rannells of Girls are all out, accepted by the public, well-loved, and play straight and gay roles, whatever comes down the pike. And that wasn't the case for some of the original cast in 68. Anyway, The Boys in the Band shows the haven that an all-gay gathering was for homosexuals back in the day, with a bit of what might seem like stereotyping in retrospect, but it also depicts the longing for acceptance, self-loathing, fear of being outed, and downright cruelty and backbiting this kind of marginalization could foster. And that has a universality and a relevance today. The Boys in the Band is very, very well done. And again, a bit of a time capsule, and it's available on Netflix.
Wow, what a trio. On the Rocks, the Murray, starring Bill Murray, the Murray film that with Sofia Coppola having done it, or Coppola, sorry, that is in theaters only right now. The Glorias, about Gloria Steinem, that is where?
That's on Amazon Prime.
That's right, Amazon Prime. And you you thought that was good. You say it wasn't great, but it was good. It's worth a watch. Yeah.
It's a lesson. It's kind of a lesson. I had the feeling that I was sitting through a lecture, but with great actresses.
Okay. Well, this review gets worse all the time. I don't want a lesson, okay? It's my weekend. I don't want a lesson, all right? That's all I'm saying.
Why are you yelling?
Because I don't want one.
Maybe you need one.
Maybe you need a Xanax.
And The Boys in the Band, which is, as you suggest, it's a classic. I mean, it was a cornerstone at the time, and now it's sort of a reminder of a time, I suppose. And you liked it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Great stuff. Michael, we love our visits with you. He is at Culture Blaster on both Twitter and YouTube. You can read his column in the Marina Times. He goes back and forth between here and L.A., and he's on top of everything entertainment. We love you, Michael Snyder. Thank you.
Woo! All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right. Go Niners. All right.
Yeah.